Good evening. You're watching The Catholic Monarchist. Okay, first things first. How about that intro, huh? It's pretty cool, right? I thought, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, especially the way the eagle flies in at the beginning of it. I this is what I connected right from the start was that it's the eagle, it flies in, and then it comes to the logo, and it like turns into that my holy Roman eagle that's on the shield. And I thought, God, that was perfect because when I first saw it, I think, maybe it's too much. Nah, nah. Maybe for most people it is, most of their podcasts, but we're monarchists here, and we like we like some embellishment. We like some flair. We want fancy stuff, cool looking stuff, fancy robes and cool logos and insignias and armor, and just we want things to look good while we're doing it. So I don't think it's too much, and I'm gonna stand by that. And it's really about time too, because you if you've been watching this, there's basically no editing whatsoever. It looks like it's pretty bad. And we've needed this professionalism for quite some time, and I'm just glad that finally we can start looking like we're a little serious here. First things first, just for disclosure, I didn't do it. That's not my doing. Actually, my sister texted me and said, "Hey, I've got time. I like doing this editing stuff anyway, so what if you just let me do it?" All right, fine, go ahead. I I would love that. I just cannot seem to bring myself to learn that stuff and then apply it here. I'm on the computer at work all day already, and I just don't have a ton of time here, and so that's why the production quality has been just bad. So she put all that together, so that's great. I actually put her YouTube channel in the description if you want to follow her. She's got a nice channel there with some piano and everything. So once I get you all depressed, maybe you can go over to her and get cheered up again. I don't know. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was established as well. So the story for this episode is not super exciting, but I think it's helpful. And that would be to know how you can make yourself be a more informed voter. So you're not just going out there and blindly voting for whatever names sound good, or the person who has the R next to their name or the D. So I just thought, all right, let me share a few things that I do that help me out, and it should give you a better idea of what to expect behind those names when you see them on the ballot. So first thing that's just you kind of need. You have to have this. Is you need to know yourself well. You need an established set of principles, of morals, of policies, ideas, things like that. And once you have that foundation set up, then you can decide for yourself in a way, well, when this issue comes up or that issue comes up, when someone says something, how do I actually feel about that? So this reminds me of when, was it 2008 or 2012? It was probably both. But I remember when we were watching those presidential debates, I would hear something someone's saying. I was brought up as a Ron Paul fan, And I didn't really know too much as to why. I knew he was more of an honest guy than most of these other people there. But he would say something, and I would, like look over to my dad and say, "So why is that right? Like, is that a good idea?" So I mean, you kind of see what I mean. You kind of have to know when they bring up an opinion on something. You should be able to decipher for yourself if that's a good thing or not. So I'm a monarchist, a Catholic monarchist first. So I base a lot around that. If, just to be obvious, I'm trying to think of a good example. I guess just to be super obvious, if a candidate starts talking about women's autonomy and women's rights and, it starts getting to that murky area with abortion, I know right away, based on what I know and what I believe, that is no good. And so, yeah, make sure you know yourself well. And then the second thing I like to do is know the people around you, obviously. So just kind of get a good idea of the environment, how things are here. Are you in more of a conservative area, more of a liberal area? What about your state? Who has control of the House? Who has control of the Senate? I'm talking about specifically state level right now, because a lot of people know about their national representatives. They know about their governors and the president and so on, obviously. But this is the kind of level where it's going to affect you directly more. So I think it's good to know basically just how that whole structure works. What is a veto-proof majority, for example? Who has control of the Senate? Who has control of the House? And just paying attention to all of that and knowing the names in your town, in your district, and so on. And then you want to search, once you get an idea of these people, you want to search their voting records. So this is really useful. You can go online pretty easily and look up this person, and they should be on there somewhere. On Kansas, it's easy. It's KS legislature. And for example, here is my state senator, Kristen O'Shea. Okay, unfortunately, if you know me, unfortunately it's a woman already, so already she's going to have to be pretty darn good to really convince me that she can do the job. And, there's a long list. It's kind of boring, but there's a long list of bills and issues with telling you if they voted yay or nay, or if they were absent, or they passed on the vote. And then it kind of gives you a short description of what that bill was. And so if you already understand these things and know what you want out of these people, then you'll be able to kind of tell by looking at this where they really are. And kind of a little cheat I like to use is you can take someone you may know who's who's also like a state senator or a state representative, and you really trust them and think they're really darn good, have a great voting record. You could always take them and then put them next to this person and see how well they correlate together. If they don't agree on that much, maybe this person's not great. For me, I kind of got it made. My state rep is already about as good as it gets, so I don't have to do anything there, really. If anything, out of curiosity, I like to take his voting record and then compare him to some other people around the area nearby and see how they compare to him. So that's a little cheat I like to use as well. And then last thing, you could always ask your friends or family, people that you share very similar beliefs with, and see if they know anything. See if they know any of these people personally, or they've kept up with how they've governed and legislated, so on. and you might be able to get some valuable info from them. And with that all being said, that's about everything there. It's not, you're not going to get everything from this, but it's helpful, and it really does not take a whole lot to figure these things out. And it might help you avoid a decision that if you knew better, you thought, oh wow, I did not know this person was like this. I should never have voted for them, or vice versa. That's what happened to a bunch of people in, I can't remember what area of Kansas, somewhere in the Southwest, I think, super conservative area. And this Republican gets in and he's voting like a liberal. And it's like, okay, they ended up, I think they got pretty angry with him and he resigned. So he didn't even go through a primary, and someone else is now running in his place. But, I guess better late than never. But if everybody knew how this guy was beforehand, he would have never gotten in, if there was anything to find out from, maybe. But those are the kind of things you could potentially avoid by knowing these people better. And so that's all I got on this topic. Again, I don't know yet if I'm live streaming on election night. Just still trying to get things figured out with that. I'm just not sure what the heck is going on, but I'll try to let you know beforehand what happens. And if not, well, have a great election night. Let's just pray that everything goes well, and we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that's everything. So you have a great rest of your day, and God bless.